You ever just stop and think, what makes us, well, us? Today, we're going to do just that. We're diving into an epic journey, a family story that stretches back 25 million years, all to figure out the moments that truly defined our humanity. Okay, let's get into it. See, this isn't just about fossils and old bones. It's really about answering one single huge question. What is that one quality that makes us human? And the answer, you'll see, is like a massive relay race of inheritance, passed down through species you've probably never even heard of. And our story doesn't start on some dusty savanna like you might think. Nope, we're going high up into the canopy, 13 million years ago, in a forest that used to cover Spain. This is where Pyrrholopithecus lived, this amazing acrobat that moved through the trees not by walking on branches, but by hanging underneath them. And it's right here, in the trees, that the very first step toward becoming human was taken. Okay, so to really get a handle on the huge scale of this journey, let's look at our timeline. We kick things off with Pyrrholopithus, the social innovator. Then, millions of years later, we meet Toomai, the groundbreaker. After that, Sediba, the risk-taker who has to make an impossible choice. And finally, Homo erectus, the explorer, who takes everything we've inherited and basically conquers the world. Each one passed a critical piece of who we are to the next. So what was it? What was that first great gift from Pyrrholopithecus? It wasn't bigger claws or sharper teeth. It was a software upgrade. Empathy. The ability to literally understand what someone else is feeling and even feel it with them. This is a powerful social glue, and we first see it when an older female feels the anxiety of a young outcast. That's what allows us to build the complex societies we have today. It was one of our very first human traits. And this really shows you just how brilliant they were. Pyrrholopithus invented the tree nest, which meant they could finally get long, deep, restorative sleep, the kind that lets the brain sort information and build memories. They started passing knowledge down from mother to child, like which plants are medicine and which are poison. That's the beginning of culture. They invented the first tool, a simple stick for fishing termites. And maybe best of all, to calm everyone down, they even invented laughter. All of that we got from them. An incredible foundation, isn't it? But our story is about to take a really dramatic turn. All right, let's jump forward 7 million years. The climate's changed, the big, lush forests are shrinking, and our descendants, now called Toomai, are forced down from the trees. And life on the ground? Well, that's a whole new ballgame. So this is where things get really interesting. The entire social order gets flipped on its head. Pyrrholopithecus' society was led by females, held together by empathy and sharing knowledge. But out on the dangerous open ground, Toomai society becomes all about powerful alpha males. It's a new world of hierarchy, rivalry, and a brand new human activity: politics. And with this new political world came a flood of new, complicated emotions. You've got males forming alliances, plotting against rivals, all that stuff. But it wasn't just conflict. Toomai also invented preference, choosing a partner not just to mate, but to actually spend time with, to share affection. This is the dawn of seduction, of real desire. But with these deeper bonds came a terrible new feeling. When an infant is taken by a predator, its mother refuses to leave the body. For the very first time, our ancestors are grappling with the idea of death. And this new life, well, it brought out our darkest inheritance. One day, the alpha male sees a neighboring group that's gotten drunk on some fermented fruit. He wants their territory and their females. And a cold, calculated, premeditated idea forms in his mind: kill his own kind in an organized attack. The Toomai invented war, a brutal but effective strategy that is definitely still with us today. These are the moments, for better and for worse, that truly shaped us. And coming up next, our ancestors face a choice that will decide the fate of our entire species. Okay, we're jumping forward again, this time to 2 million years ago. A massive drought has Africa in its grip. For our ancestor, Sediba, the trees are empty. The roots they dig for are tough and barely provide any food. The entire species is literally staring at extinction. They faced a decision so fundamental that it would actually split our family tree right in two. A choice that would determine which branch survived and which one just withered away. So the big question is, what would they do? And here it is, laid out plain and simple. They could stay, clinging to the safety of the trees, where they knew they would eventually starve to death. Or They could walk out into the complete unknown, onto the open savanna, risking getting eaten by giant predators for the chance to find food, to find meat, to survive. And here's the fascinating twist. It wasn't the strong, dominant alpha males who took the risk. No way. They wanted to protect what little power they had left. Instead, it was the weaker members of the group, a young female, a creative young male, who chose to leave. They risked everything for a better world they couldn't even see yet. And because of their courage, you and I are here today. That courage is our shared inheritance, and it was passed on to the descendants of those who chose the unknown. Those brave Sadiba who chose to gamble on the unknown, they evolved. Their descendants became Homo erectus, an explorer like no other. They were born to run, with an incredible internal cooling system. They left Africa and started following the great herds of animals all across the globe. But their greatest tool wasn't a sharpened stone. It was fire. First, they saw how terrifying it was. Then, a brave group managed to capture a smoldering branch from a wildfire. They learned to control it, to use it. And this changed everything. Cooked food took 16 times less energy to digest, which freed up all that extra energy to fuel a rapidly growing brain. And with bigger brains and the power of fire, Homo erectus became big game hunters. They built complex societies, with people specializing as tool makers or hide tanners. They migrated out of Africa, spreading all across Asia and Europe. And as they gathered around the warmth and safety of the fire each night, something truly magical happened. They started telling stories about who they were, where they came from. And with those stories, love deepened, forming the first true lasting couple bonds. From empathy to war, from risk-taking to storytelling, the baton has been passed down the line. And now, the final leg of the relay is finally in sight. Back in Africa, Homo erectus just kept evolving, and eventually became us, Homo Sapiens. We are the inheritors of this entire, magnificent, and sometimes terrifying legacy. We have the empathy of Piralapithis, the political cunning of Tumai, the courage of Sadiba, and the ingenuity of Homo erectus. And here's the thing. For a long, long time, we were not alone. There were at least 6 different human species walking the earth. You had Neanderthals in Europe, the tiny hobbits on an island in Indonesia, the Denisovans in Asia. But today, only one remains. We are these sole survivors, the keepers of this flame that's been passed down for millions of years. We inherited empathy, ingenuity, and an absolutely astonishing capacity for courage. So the final question isn't about our past anymore, it's about our future. What are we going to do with this inheritance? What will be our legacy? If you enjoy this journey through our shared history, subscribe for more explainers like this, and definitely let us know in the comments what story from the past you'd like us to explore next.